Channel, stop throwing them things on the court. It ain't funny. It never was funny. The reason why I was ignoring it was because when you give things more attention, people are like, ooh, this got attention. I want attention. And they go and try to do it again. So now what do we have at all the WNBA games across all the courts and all the arenas? People doing the same thing to get a cheap laugh and to go viral. And it keeps going viral and people keep, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's happening. And now it's not even funny anymore, guys. Well, how about it never was funny from the jump, huh? Groundbreaking concept. It was never funny from the jump. And the more attention you give to things, the more people want to do it. Monkey see, monkey do. And that's not a racist joke. It's the same thing like with what I think with school tragedies and things of that sort. Of like, I think that's why they really, you see a difference in between how the, you know what I'm saying, alleged, how do you call them, the alleged defendants are kind of covered, how they used to be covered, say like the late 90s, early 2000s versus how they're covered now. It's a lot less focus on them, a lot less talk about them. You don't really know their names, first name, last. They don't become celebrities. They aren't placed on this pedestal. They might be mentioned once. You might see their mugshot for a couple days if it's really bad on the news, and then they move on. They continue talking about the tragedy and the situation, but they don't talk about the alleged defendant anymore because you give attention to the defendant and kids are going to look at that and like, man, I've always felt unseen. I want to make a name for myself. I want to be remembered. And they go thinking that's the way to do it. I just think it's dumb. I want people to stop. Please stop. So with that being said, I guess let's get into the news for the day. This one hit me, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I saw this like maybe an hour or two ago, but I moved it all the way up top because it's important to me. And yeah, it's my journal. This is from the Ball Alert. Shout out to the Ball Alert. BET pulls the plug on the Hip Hop and Soul Train Awards. Hurt me, man. Hurt me. 2 of Black music's most iconic celebrations are off the air indefinitely by Think Tank. That sounds like AI. We're gonna move past it, because I don't see anybody else writing a story on this tonight. There'll probably be some stories on it tomorrow when people get back to work on normal clock, but they're none tonight. So here we go. And here's Lil' Kim in 2022 on the carpet of the BET Hip Hop Awards. BET made a major move that's catching a lot of people off guard. The network officially suspended both the BET Hip Hop Awards and Soul Train Awards indefinitely. Yes, that means 2 of the most culturally significant nights in Black music have no set date to return. There's no word on whether they ever will. This isn't just about 2 award shows. The BET Hip Hop Awards has been the go-to celebration for rap and hip hop culture since 2006, known for its ciphers, bold performances, moments that made headlines. Likewise, Soul Train Awards have been honoring R&B and soul since 1987, highlighting legends while giving shine to emerging talent. BET CEO Scott Mills confirmed, for BET Linear, we have suspended the Soul Train and Hip Hop Award shows, but we have a team that's actively thinking of where those shows might best live as the media climate continues to evolve. He added, it's not about them being over, it's about reimagining how we deliver them in today's fast-changing media landscape. This is something that everybody's dealing with, in TV especially. How do we adjust to this? I remember, I believe it was DDG. He was on Holla, listen to me now. Get your freak on. Shout out to Big Nate in the building, man. But yes, DDG, he was on his press run for the album where he was holding the dreadlocks and stuff, and blame it on the chat, right? And he went to BET. He went to BET's offices, and BET announced that they were going to start a Twitch channel, and they decided to do their first Twitch stream with DDG in his visit to the office. And they were like, Twitch. You see these different places. They're like, oh, we're opening a Twitch. We're starting Twitch. We're doing this. We're streaming. People are really looking for ways to fit in with what's hot right now. And they're looking for any way to stay relevant. How do we do this? How do we do it? Man, the kids are on Snapchat. The kids are on this. The kids are on that. ESPN is doing ESPN Bet. Now, The NFL owns 10% of ESPN now. So we've compromised journalistic integrity for the sake of monetary gain and for the sake of attempting to survive and stay relevant. That is what we're seeing in sports. And I'm bringing up sports journalism because that's the field of work I'm in. But this is what we're seeing in media trying to stay afloat. Okay, we're going to lean a little more into the sports gambling side of things. We're going to lean a little more into partnering with actual leagues. We're going to lean a little more into streaming and this and that. We just hired a Snapchat and social media lifestyle influencer person who has 14 million followers. And that's who we're going to hire at ESPN to be on NFL Live and on these studio shows as opposed to a journalist. We got rid of PTI and not PTI, but Around the Horn and all of these different shows and these long glove journalists and behind the scene powerhouses and stuff like that to keep up with the trends. Trends. People are literally just trying to find a way to survive and keep the lights on in their places. And it's a sad thing because the Hip Hop Awards, for me, has a very, very, very special meaning. Like this article says, they started in 2006. The Hip Hop Awards were always in Atlanta. So for me, like as a kid, that was like the first time that we had an annual national big event in my city, like right down the street from me, right down the highway from me. And so it was beautiful seeing that. I remember all the years, the early years of T.I. and Soulja Boy and Gucci and all of these big events in rap music were happening at the BET Hip Hop Awards. Then when they kicked in the ciphers, oh man, that changed the game forever, bro. And my favorite cipher, I was just talking about this in a meeting about an hour or two ago. In 10th grade, every day I would come home and I would go on Comcast On Demand downstairs. And I would watch two things. I would watch the Tyler, the Creator Yonkers video, and I will watch the BET Hip Hop Awards, and I'll skip all the way to the Good Music Cypher with Kanye West, Common, Sci-Hi the Prince, Big Sean, and I believe that was it. Maybe Pusha T was in it as well. And I will watch those two things every single day. And the Good Music Sci-Fi, I could still, like say it word for word right now. The windows. Why the Winslow? Don't make me bring the toys out. Yeah. Don't make me bring the toys. No. That's the actual song from Dark Fantasy. But on the cipher, it was that's why the devil the same thing, that is a bad deal. But at least it came with a few toys like a Happy Meal. This game you can never win. Because they love you, then they hate you, then they love you again. Get away from me, loneliness. Get away from me. Get away from me, fake tracks. I can only make hits. Get away from them, man. Come on, man. Shouts out to Kanye West. Anyway, I say all this to say there were so many great moments. That was my favorite cipher. And then you had a couple years back, you had early Nicki before she really popped. You had Lecrae before he really took that next level of stardom and things of that sort. You had Crit and all these guys. The BET Hip Hop Award ciphers was how I discovered Childish Gambino was Childish Gambino. Childish Gambino was someone whose name I always saw on the internet and on YouTube comments and things of that sort. And I knew who Donald Glover was because my friend, shouts out to my boy Charles Kane, one of my best friends in life. He put me on the Derek Comedy when we were in 6th grade in 2006. We watched Derek Comedy, so I knew who that was. And then I seen him on Community. I said, oh, that's the dude from Derek Comedy. I didn't know he was writing for 30 Rock at the time he was on Derek Comedy, but that's besides the point, right? When I seen his name pop up as Childish Gambino and he was telling jokes and rapping, I was like, oh, is he joking? Like, is the actor joking or whatever? Because that was the same year that Will Ferrell went to the ESPYs and he walked on stage and accepted an award on Tiger Woods' behalf. So I'm thinking like he's just joking like Will Ferrell was as a comedian, as an actor and stuff. I asked my friend, hey, is the dude from Derek Comedy and NBC, is that Childish Gambino? And he said, yeah, he does a lot of things and he has a lot of money. I was like, oh, snap, what the heck? And from there on, I've been all in on Gambino's music. Went back through his entire catalog. This was like right after Royalty came out. He was on the cipher with Angel Hayes and A$AP Rocky. And I want to say like Dricky Graham, or I forgot his name. But yeah, it was a great cipher as well. And then, of course, hip hop's biggest moment in 2025, a large part of that at the beginning of it was the 2013 cipher of TDE when Kendrick in August, right, goes on Big Sean's song and calls out the entire rap game by name. Drake takes a liking to it. When his album, Nothing Was the Same, comes out in September, he's complaining about it the entire run. Then come October, BET Hip Hop Awards 2013, TDE Cypher. This man Kendrick goes, when I tucked the when I tucked the sensitive rapper back in his drama clothes and his pajama clothes. And then he said he kicked the wheelchair and everything like that and put it back in his wheelchair. Ha ha, jokes on you, high five. I'm bulletproof. And that like took the beef to another level. And 12 years after that, we got Not Like Us. Or 11 years after that, we got Not Like Us. Crazy stuff. But all of these moments happen from the BET Hip Hop Awards, and then the space that it allowed to honor our legends that needed to be honored, that probably wouldn't be honored on a national stage like they were. When you think of people like Trick Daddy, when you think of people like Trina, when you think of people like Uncle Luke, when you think about people like LL Cool J, and LL Cool J having his own award to honor people like Tyler the Creator and all of these great minds. I remember the 50th year of hip hop celebration where Rakim would perform, Rakim and Eric B. When I saw the tribute that Kodak Black did to P&B Rock a couple years ago, when I seen, the entire Fat Joe kind of collaboration of bringing out all the different decades of hip hop, all of these, it's so important to have a space like that. Lil' Kim, as you guys just saw over here, for her to be honored. It's so important for us to honor our legends, and the BET main award show, there just isn't enough time to get to everybody there. So for hip hop specifically, for our night to have our own night in rap music, it was a beautiful thing. The hip hop awards, they invited a lot of dope artists and people in the underground, especially like Suave was there a couple of years ago. The BET Hip Hop Awards is where I met and interviewed Foggy Raw for the first time. Is where I met and interviewed V's for the first time, and where we went viral, that viral moment with V's on TikTok and stuff like that. It's just so many great moments from the BET Hip Hop Awards that I'm forever, eternally like indebted to and grateful for. And I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss the BET Hip Hop Awards a lot. And I hope they figure out some way to redo this and maybe put it on BET Plus and get people to subscribe to BET Plus. I don't know what it's going to take to come up with the funding or the money to continue that award show, because I know it's a lot of money to fund award shows and things of that sort. But this is important. This is beautiful. Soul Train Awards, same thing. To keep the Soul Train legacy alive, Soul Train was literally Soul Train. Excuse me, sorry. Soul Train into Rap City-ish, into 106 and Park, into Breakfast Club, and ever since then it's kind of been like scattered now. It's like Breakfast Club here, or Joe Budden podcast here, or this podcast here, this podcast here. It's all kind of scattered. There's no central area now how it used to be, because we live in a individualized civilization with social media, technology, everything like that. But man, to keep the Soul Train legacy alive, where it all started, for Black culture on TV, Black artists to have a home, for Black dancers to dance and just be happy in the studio, to keep that legacy alive with Don Cornelius, it's so important to keep that alive. And then for what it turned into after the show went off, decades later, for it to become a night where we honor the R&B legends, and the R, to give R&B its own night is so important. Obviously, I'm more rap than R&B, but they're one and the same. And R&B, especially today, can be so overlooked. So to have a night dedicated to it, to where we're looking beyond just the big names, but also the India Shans and the Mears and the Elmirs, the Pink Sweats, obviously Lucky Days, and on kind of on the bigger side of things, and the Hers, and him when him was a thing, and all of these R&B artists. Like, it's beautiful for them to have their own night and to honor the legends, of course, in the genre as well, because we aren't honored as much anywhere else. The only place where we're honored in death and given the correct flowers and the video tributes and the tributes of performances on stage, all of these things is from our own people and our own community. And that's what we got from the BET Hip Hop Awards and Soul Train Awards. So very, very sad day in Black media and Black entertainment and Black Hollywood. And I just, hope that the network can figure out something to keep this thing going. Even if you have to put it on Twitch, if you have to put it on Twitch and figure a way to still do it, I believe it's possible. Just rent out a theater and have a production team and put it out on Twitch. If they could do it for the streamies and Kai Cenat can throw on his own thing, then a whole network like VT, I would assume, can do something similar. So we'll see what happens, bro. But definitely a sad thing. Sad development there. Okay, this is some old stuff, but academics responding to G Herbo. I thought it was kind of funny.
What's academics, Vlad, all you niggas that made money off of culture and people dying and bloodshed and shit like that, go donate 20,000 or 50,000 to a nonprofit organization that focus on just the betterment.
G Herbo, you were just caught up in a Fed case where you were accused of embezzling and stealing funds, $1.5 million.
Two rights don't make it wrong.
$1 You bought private jets, luxury puppies, went on vacations to Jamaica and all that type of stuff, took bitches all around the world. You only had to pay back $100,000 in restitution. What happened to the other $1.4 million? Don't you think you should give that back to the grandmas who y'all stole their credit cards? I could read through it. This is a federal document. Please don't ever tell nobody what they should be doing with their money, time, or any resources until you take accountability. Instead of saying I should go donate, y'all spend $14,000 on a villa, $34,000 on expensive cars. This was money that was stolen from old grandma credit cards who swiped their cards in the hood. Y'all stole $1.5 million. I do think giving back is good. Absolutely. But the idea that someone is the police to when you give back, how you give back, and how much you give back is utterly ridiculous when it's coming from the people. If it was coming from the victims, I could see it. Not the nigga that got the chain, that's riding around like he's like the boss. That done after he got out of Chicago, he did another fraud to run it up even more, $1.5 million, that he could be on private jets and all that type of stuff. It can't be you.
I think it's a great clapback. It's great for content sake on Axe part. At the same time, it's like, bro, don't be so dense. Like, let's look at the point. And the point was, bro, the content that you guys have made an entire career off of has been extremely detrimental and fatal and all of these things to particular communities, already vulnerable communities. You made Chicago into a soap opera series, bro, of just documenting kids on a day-to-day basis, a week-to-week basis of offing themselves, of deleting themselves. And you became rich off it. You bought mansions off it. You got chains. You got money now. You have a name. You have millions of followers. And so for someone to call you out on that, who comes from that area, who comes from that city, specifically Chicago, and your first thing is, oh, I know you're not talking. Let me call you out. The deflection, the lack of accountability right there is a bit repulsive. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I guess I should just mind my business, huh? But as someone who makes content on a much, much lower scale right now, a much more low-key scale right now, I recognize that there is an importance of what I pay attention to and what we give power to, what we give our energy to, all of the things, because people pay attention, bro. So it's like, if you making money off of it, you need to make sure like there is something else there. And it's not just making money with no kind of end in sight. It's like making money, but we're going to give back and we're going to give some of this money back to the so-and-so and we're going to work to improve these instead of just putting money back. Because what does that make you? That'll make you any bigger than, you know what I'm saying, the people of a particular community that get called out all the time who run in on the labels. What is the difference between you and them? There's nothing. So yeah. Profiting off of black pain is all an ugly practice to me. All right, next thing. An 18-year-old was intimate with the 13-year-old, so Utah changed their close and age mitigations to specify to include that 18-year-olds, if they're still in high school, can turn child into lawful act. The 18-year-old is a relative of the Senate president. An 18-year-old high schooler was facing potential prison time and was having to register as an SO until the help came from a powerful ally, Senate President J. Stewart Adams. This is from the Salt Lake Tribune. Utah Senate President prompted law change that helped the teen charged with child, and you guys can read it. The case may reopen debate among lawmakers about how they respond when older teens do with kids too young to consent. This was written by Robert Grick. All right, last year, an 18-year-old Utahn was staring at a potential years in prison, accused of being intimate with the 13-year-old. Plea bargain negotiations were at an impasse. Then the Utah legislature, based on initial suggestion from Senate President J. Stewart Adams, changed the law. 2 months later, prosecutors offered the 18-year-old, who's related to Adams, a plea deal. The teen would plead guilty to reduced charges, face no additional jail time beyond a week already served, and would not have to register as an SO. The new law was not made retroactive, and the teen was not charged with the new lower level crime it created. But in court hearings, the judge, the prosecutor, and defense attorney, Cara Tondro, who helped draft the bill language that was adopted by the legislator, all acknowledged that it was pivotal to resolving the charges against an 18-year-old. You saw the legislative change, Tondro told Judge Rita Cornish at a sentencing. We all agreed that that's not retroactive, but that the government did change their offer based on that. The change in law created a new option for prosecutors in narrow circumstances, specifically in cases that involve 13-year-old victims. 17-year-olds who are intimate with 13-year-olds face a third-degree felony charge of unlawful activity. The new law now allows prosecutors to file that same charge against an 18-year-old if they are enrolled and is a high school student. Previously, as adults, 18-year-old high school students who were intimate with 13-year-olds could face a charge of a first-degree felony. A conviction on that charge generally requires registration as an SO, while conviction on the newly lesser created charge does not. In a statement to the Salt Lake Tribune, Adams said that the case stemmed from a quote-unquote serious mistake, but he was quote-unquote surprised by the severity of the charges that were initially filed. The original charges were 2 counts of child and 2 counts of child, all first-degree felonies, carrying the possibility of 25 years to life in prison and the requirement to register as an SO. The Layton Republican emphasized that the new law was not retroactive and said that he did not intend to impact the case. His intent was to help future students. Some have suggested this change was made to benefit the case I was made aware of involving a high school senior. You mean your nephew? That is simply not true, he said. While the sponsor of the bill was aware of this case, I did not request the legislation and did not intervene or give input on drafting of the bill. The mother of the junior high school victim said in an interview with the Tribune that she was shocked to learn about the change of the law. It was out of nowhere, she said. It felt like a punch in the gut. She believes her child was an afterthought in both the legislative debate and handling of the criminal case. It feels like a law is the law regardless of who you are, but that wasn't what was going on here, she said. I feel like an 18-year-old just got special treatment and nobody's going to say anything about it. The Tribune generally does not name victims of SA and is not naming the 13-year-old's mother to protect the child's identity. It is also not identifying the 18-year-old. The Tribune does typically not cover these cases. The mother of the 13-year-old victim agreed to speak on the record about the case. The case highlights a larger issue that legal systems nationwide continue to grapple with. How should the criminal justice system respond when an older teen is intimate with someone younger than them who cannot legally consent? In Utah, children under the age of 14 cannot consent. For older minors, the law under 14, so if you're 14, you can? Crazy. For older minors, the laws regarding consent vary based on the age of the person who is being intimate with them, provided that the person does not have to force or coercion. For prosecutors to use the new lower charge case in a case involving a 13-year-old victim. I'm sorry, it's late. Evidence must show that the teenagers in the case, quote unquote, mutually agreed to the activity, even though a 13-year-old cannot give legal consent. Pam Vickery, an executive director of the Utah Juvenile Defender Attorneys, said it's not unusual for 18-year-olds who are still in high school to socialize with student peers, but when it comes to intimacy with younger peers, they can be prosecuted as adults across the country. Yeah, but we're talking about like 18 and 16, 18 and 17, 18, and in some crazy cases, 15. Janarlo Wilson, if you know, you know, from Georgia. And my uncle was involved with that case, ironically, on the other side of things. But 18 and 13 is crazy. 18 and 14 is insane. You are out your rabbit mind, boy. Situations involving people who are too young to consent to that type of behavior, Vickery said. An impasse in legislative change. In 2023, the victim's mother said her 8th grader mentioned a quote-unquote random conversation that an 18-year-old had been intimate with the child. I just told the child, you understand what this is. They're an adult and you're not old enough to make these decisions, the mother said. Her child wanted me to report it, she said, and she contacted the police. A friend of the 18-year-old also reported the allegation to police hours later, according to the court records. The 18-year-old was arrested and charged. Plea negotiations on 4 first-degree felonies were filed against the teen, dragged on for months, according to the court records and statements in the hearings. That changed after the 2024 legislative session. Ultimately, the new law led to a plea deal that was just a few lines included in SB 213, a sweeping 49-page bill sponsored by Senate Majority Leader Kirk Collymore, a Republican from Cottonwood Heights. It adjusted a slew of criminal sentences based almost entirely on months of meetings between lawmakers, the Utah Commission on Criminal and Juvenile Justice, the Utah Sentencing Commission, and other stakeholders. According to the Sentencing Commission Director Dan Strong, the language dealing with 18-year-old high school students was not among recommendations on the working group. Collymore said Adams had confided with him about the charges against the relative and asked him to look into the issue. Collymore, who is a lawyer but doesn't practice criminal law, said he consulted with a few criminal attorneys, including Tanjiro. She said, quote unquote, the issue that is normally prosecutors in these cases will consider circumstances and offer pleas. And she said, for whatever reason, this prosecutor is not, Collymore said. And I said, what would be your ideal in something like that? Davis County prosecutor Tamara Vasquez declined to comment on the plea negotiations. Collymore said that there was no intention to change the law would impact the opinion of the case. We just thought it would be the best policy. Collymore said that Tanjiro drafted the language that would allow the lower level charge to be filed against 18-year-olds still in high school, that he shared with legislative attorneys. The bill passed without much attention paid to the provision and Governor of Spencer Cox into law on March 19, 2024. Tanjiro, who finished a year-long stint as president of the Utah State Bar, said that in her 24 years of law, she, quote unquote, often worked with legislators to change or tweak statutes when a case arises that highlights unintended consequences or overly harsh or unfair outcomes. In her written responses to the Tribune, Tanjiro said that the change to the statute was small and, quote unquote, was not retroactive and did not directly affect this client's case. Adams said that he, quote unquote, did not request the legislation and did not intervene or give input on drafting of the bill. He said no other legislator, to his knowledge, knew of his connection to this issue, quote unquote, thus that this case cannot have been influenced by their decision to vote in favor or against the bill. Collymore likewise said Adams was aware of the language of the bill but did not weigh in on it. Quote unquote, he did not talk to anybody about it, and I didn't either, Collymore said. Representative Carrion Leeson-Bay, Republican of Clearfield, the House sponsor of the bill, said that she was not aware of the impetus of the charge of the 18-year-olds or Tanjiro's role in crafting the language. The legislation passed near the end of the session when bills moved quickly, she said, but now she opposes the change to the law. All of my other work in the criminal justice space underscores that if I had known the proposed language was intended to potentially lower the penalty for a crime of a child, I would have held or amended the bill to remove that section, she said. I will immediately add a repeal of that language to a bill file that I have open. Once you're adult, you take responsibility. In July 2024, Tanjiro and Vasquez informed Judge Michael Derrida, who at the time was presiding over the case, that they had reached a plea deal. Your Honor, may not be aware, but there was actually a legislative change this last session, which changed some things with this case. Tanjiro told Dorita, according to the audio of the hearing, based on that, we came to a resolution. The resolution was that the 18-year-old would plead guilty to aggravated assault, a second-degree felony, and 3 counts of SB, which each are a Class A misdemeanor. Dorita cut short the hearing and called both attorneys back into the chambers. 2 weeks later, the judge rescued himself from the case and was reassigned to Cornish. Court spokesperson that Dorita is quote-unquote unable to comment beyond written recusal order. That order, which lies 2 lines long, only states that Dorita was recusing himself and that the case will be reassigned. Quote unquote, he did not receive pressure, political or otherwise, to recuse, the court spokesperson said. In August, at a sentencing hearing, Vasquez told the court that the victim's mother, who did not attend, wanted the judge to impose additional jail time. Quote unquote, they feel really defeated through this entire process, and I think that's why they're not here today. I want to express to the court that this is not out of disrespect of the process. It's just a process, really, in their eyes, has failed them, Vasquez told the judge. She just feels like there's no protection for the innocence of their child and that there's a disregard for how it really has affected them, Vasquez continued. They feel like there hasn't been an adequate consequences for the underlying conduct. Cornish acknowledged the challenging nature of the cases in which teenagers are intimate with one another without allegations of force or coercion, and said that the legislators' decisions to change the law is indicative of that fact. But the judge said that the younger teen was, quote unquote, legally incapable of giving consent to intimacy, period, full stop. Ultimately, the judge accepted the terms of the plea deal and sentenced the older teen, to no jail time beyond the week served? What? After the initial arrest and 420 days the teen spent on home confinement? He got no jail time? The changes to the levels of the charges meant that the team would not have to register as an SO. So he did no jail time. He didn't have to register as an SO. And wow, that's crazy. A requirement that Tanjiro said in court had been a sticking point because prosecutors had held firm at that point. Cornish ordered the teen to serve 4 years on probation, complete SO treatment, and pay a $1,500 fine and perform 120 hours of community service. Adams said that the fact that the plea included the second-degree felony rather than the third-degree felony allowed to be revised by the law shows the legislation did not determine the outcome of the case. Quote unquote, in Utah and as a society, we believe in accountability, redemption, and second chances. Wow, Adams said in his statement, quote unquote, this policy change in SB 213 reflects those values. It's unfortunate that some have mischaracterized the situation without having all the facts. What more facts do you need? An 18-year-old smashed a 13-year-old. What more facts do you need? That's all the facts you need. In her written responses to the questions about the case, Tanjiro said her client was deemed to be very low risk to reoffend and, quote unquote, fully complied with the legal process, accepted the consequences, and continues to live with the serious and lasting impact of their actions. The victim's mother said she regrets not attending the sentencing and speaking out against what she saw as a lenient punishment, quote unquote, but it was just one blow after another, and I was just tapped out, quote unquote. I would like to have had, I have kids. I know this was a mistake, but there are consequences to your actions, she said. It's changed both of you, but once you're an adult, you have to take responsibility. Vasquez declined to comment on the change of the law to the outcome of the case beyond what is in the court of record. Quote unquote, I'm not involved with making the laws. I just enforce them, she said. A real changing legal landscape. Vickery, the juvenile defense attorney, said the Davis County case points to larger issues and how the criminal justice system deals with younger adults. Since 2017, Utah law has tried to strike a balance by having graduated levels of security, which is termed unlawful adolescent intimacy, as long as it does not involve force or other allegations that would support charges like or SA. For example, the 17-year-old who has intimacy with a 13-year-old can be charged with the third-degree felony version of that charge, while the acts of a 14-year-old would be a Class B misdemeanor. Quote unquote, what it really raises to me when it comes to 18 to 24-year-olds Should we be treating them differently? Vickery said, because what research shows of the population development brain-wise that they're the same level of maturity at 17 years old, but all of a sudden we're drawn to this arbitrary line of 18. Okay, here we go. Paul Castle of the University of Utah, law professor and retired judge, said the lines regarding age are often drawn out of quote-unquote administrative convenience. Some 17-year-olds, for example, may be knowledgeable and capable of voting, but deciding those circumstances on a case-by-case basis is untenable. When it comes to conduct, lawmakers have created a bright line that is clearly and easy to enforce, he said, but Cassell said that he can see the logic in treating 18-year-olds in high school similar to the younger peers and classmates. Quote unquote, from a victim's point of view, I think it is hard and fast rules may be more victim protective. He said, I don't think we should be getting into a debate about how mature is a 13-year-old. Oh, geez, Louise. I don't think we should engage in that because we can very quickly lead to victim blaming. Roughly 30 states have laws on the books intended to take into consideration and circumstances of intimacy involving teenagers. Texas law applies the 3-year allowance provided that teenagers are both over 14. In Michigan, the buffer is 5 years provided that they are both over 13. Oh, that's crazy. Arizona's law applies to individuals over the age of 15 but younger than 19 and within 2 years of each other. Donna Kelly, who spent more than 3 decades prosecuting special victim crimes in Utah, said that it was true that young people's brains aren't fully developed. While balance is necessary, she said, there is value to having consequences for teenage intimate misconduct. Quote unquote, we both know from all the research for many years that younger we can intervene in the lives of SOs, the better the outcome, the less recidivism there is going to be, she said. Cullimore said that Utah lawmakers have made other changes to treat 18-year-old high school students, as the same as their 17-year-old peers. In 2022, a bill sponsored by former Representative Lori Snow, a Republican of St. George, sent 18-year-olds to juvenile court for committing certain crimes, mainly misdemeanors like smoking or speeding in a parking lot. Snow's bill was limited to the crimes that happened during school hours or on school grounds. He said that the idea to prevent saddling young people with an adult criminal record with lesser crimes and let them avoid having to hire attorneys to represent them in court. Cullimore said proposed making 18-year-old high schoolers eligible for the lower third-degree felony in the same spirit. Kids who are still in high school, I don't think it's unjust to prosecute them with the 17-year-old peers just because they might turn 18 before they graduate, he said. The mother of the victim says she understands the reasons for treating younger offenders differently than olders, but she added that being SA so young changed her child, who she said has become more withdrawn and careful, and she doesn't want to be around her friends as much. Adams says that he recognizes the sensitivity, quote unquote, and emotions surrounding these issues and wants to acknowledge the pain and difficulty felt by those who have been harmed. Both my wife and I are deeply concerned for everyone affected and express our sincere apologies to those who have been hurt. There is, quote unquote, no blanket rule, said Kelly, the former prosecutor, for how people recover from being victim of a crime. Quote unquote, here's the thing I've learned in my 32 years of being a prosecutor of intimate crimes. Every victim is different, she said. People have a misconception that the physical act in itself is damaging, but it's not what's damaging. What's damaging is the feeling of betrayal, the feelings that you can't trust anymore. Note to the readers, the Salt Lake Tribune has turned off comments due to the sensitive nature of the material included in this story. And there it is. So yeah, nasty work, bro. A 13-year-old and an 18-year-old buddy should definitely be behind bars. She should have to do at least one day, bro. He ain't do nothing. Nathaniel, he just walked. It's crazy. Staying in a court of law, the woman who sued Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp has spoken out. She went on The Morning Hustle. Shouts out to Head Crack. Shouts out to L'Oreal. Let's get it.
Them an opportunity to even be able to retract it, just to apologize. You sent out emails, letters, you've spoken with people, the producers over there, everything, and still they chose not to take it down.
Absolutely. So when it all began, this is back in April, many people are just hearing about it now, and that shows I'm not into trying to get a media hit about this. It got picked up. I'm not even sure how. I'm not really talking about the nuts and bolts of the case, but this case is about Shay Shay Media. It's about Pink Deer, the production company that was not fact checking it, or if they did not care enough. I sent emails, I sent letters. Clearly they opened it, they responded because they made it private. They did not take it down, and it didn't take it down immediately. And even as of July 31st, things were still on ways to find it on their podcast, on Apple and their other mediums in which they do it. And this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Yeah. And right now, as it stands, there's no oversight, there's no regulation, and there's nobody calling anyone on the carpet when they're earning tens of millions of dollars for clicks, likes, and follows and through advertisers. They don't have the overhead that you guys have here. They can have two men, a microphone, and a producer that's supposed to fact check, and they're not doing right by that. And as a private citizen, my rights were encroached upon. This is wrong. And something needs to happen about this. And I said, you know what? I'm going to see you in court since they did not want to do the right thing.
20 million is still OD for that. 20 million is still OD for that. And people moved on, bro. Like, nobody's talking about this no more. Like it's just crazy, dog. I don't know, bro. Like, 20 million is OD for that. But that's just how I feel about the situation, bro. All right, next up.
I know this story, but
Jaime Jaquez Jr., he talked about the night he met his girlfriend on date night.
I guess it's like the first time the public's hearing the story. So I met her in New York on draft night. I was, having the time of my life, just my dream came true. Yep. And I bump into her and like literally bump in like straight out of a movie, and we start talking and chatting. And then, as the night progresses, we're having a good time. We're talking, getting to know each other. And I'm like, let's get out of here. Like, let's go get some pizza or something. She's like, okay, let's go. Get in the Uber. And as soon as I got in the Uber and the loud music and the lights stopped going, I realized, oh, wow, like I can't go get a pizza. I need to go home. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I am not okay. Like, please take me home. And
wait,
so, yeah, I mean, as you can tell, I'm like having a great night. I'm like, I can't make it a pizza. Like, please, like, I'm telling you right now. And then she's like, wait, like, what do you mean? Like, you're taking me to your hotel. Like, who are you? Like, I don't even know you. I was like, if you could please just take me home. So she ends up taking me to my hotel, and she takes me out to my room. My brother's asleep. He's like, what is going on? And I make a beeline straight to the bathroom, and you guys can put the story together from there. I ended up dying. And she's like, what the hell? And then our boy Justin comes into the room. He's like, what is going on? Like, what's happening? And he just sees me in the bathroom. I'm laying on the floor. Like, it was a good night. I had a great time, but that's how we ended up the first time we met. So Justin ended up getting her number. He's like, she's like, I gotta leave. Like, I don't know who this guy is. Like, thanks, but no thanks. I'm like, all right, cool. So I texted her the next morning. I was like, hey, very sorry. Like, thank you so much for helping me. She's like, of course, no problem. Like, it happens to the best of us. I was like, cool. After that, we go around like 3 months of just, I'm living my life. She's living her life. I come back to LA, and then we're going out with our friends, and one of my boys, my roommate, he's like, you should invite, that girl out from New York. And I was like, she went to USC, right? I was like, oh yeah, she did. Like, let me see. Let me try to make it up to her. So I was like, hey, can I make it up to you? We're going out tonight. You want to come? Bring whoever you want. So she comes, brings her friends, and the rest is history. We just hit it off, like fell in love so quick. Yeah. And then, so yeah, she forgave me for my dark moment. And we hit it off.
What were you drinking that night?
Tequila.
Just tequila? You weren't mixing? You just...
No, I just drank straight tequila. Like I said, it was a crazy night. My boys were there. Like, a lot of my friends who were already in the league, like they were just, pushing me to have the best night ever. And I did. I had a great time.
Crazy. Yeah.
Draft
night's always
nuts. It was a fun time. So that's how we ended up meeting. And then the rest, I guess, is history.
Always a girl from LA, bro. Always a girl from LA. Well, hey, it is what it is. Let me see what the comments are saying, because this was like going crazy. It's got 12,000 likes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she randomly bumped into a 6'6" dude on draft night. She secured the bag at the final buzzer. That's funny. She spiked your drink, bro. Oh, wow. Dang, that's crazy. Shawty did no work at all and got into generational money just like that. Who gonna tell him? Dude fell for the okie doke. Dang! Is all y'all hurt on the internet? They always make themselves available when it's time to get the big bucks, LOL. But it's all love, though, so you got to respect it. She was scouting Jimmy Butler. He ain't serious, right? Wait. What was that Knicks post? What is this? Oh, this is an advertisement. Once she knew he played in the league, it was raps. His girlfriend on draft night plotting like this. That made him think of Gold Digger by does he know Gold Digger's biggest night of the year? They wait at the finish line. Dude out here getting played. Okay. Jeez Louise. Y'all heal up, man. Y'all heal up. Shout out to Cameron Brink. Shout out to Cydney Curry, man. Shout out to the Currys. Next up. Caribou. She say the beef is squashed with Yachty, but she's still in the 360.
You got your mic?
The one that he's at. Oh, DDG just told me I need that.
I fuck with DDG.
I know. I saw you guys were cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard.
Are you and Little Yachty cool?
Yeah.
Wow, Jordan is just messy, dog. She just do this every time I watch. She just doing something like this. She did this with the Ruby Rose joint. That's crazy.
Oh, y'all squash it?
I mean, we squashed it, but he still has.
And she's surprised. Man, this is crazy.
Y'all squash it?
I mean, we squashed it, but he still has me in the 360 deal. What I'm gonna do?
Young Thug was in a 360 deal.
Yeah. I'm gonna be straight.
All right. I believe in you. If you put me on a song, it's gonna be a rap. Hey, you know what nigga always say that. If you put me
Shit. Bring me that. I got. You know what I'm saying?
You got your mic?
Best of luck to Kara as she tries to get in a better contract situation. She signed so quick, bro. Like she blew up. A bunch of labels hit her up, and she signed like expeditiously because Boat was her friend. Knowing Boat's history with Joe Budden, where he called Boat out for having the 360, but Boat turned around and being like, "Oh yeah, this is a rites of passage. You get into a bad deal, your first deal is insane. It's insane." Prayers up to Kara, man. This is Sophie Cunningham speaking on DeWanna Bonner.
Be this scenario.
Yeah.
And I like DB because like DB was one of my vets when I was in Phoenix, and then we gathered here into Indiana, and like it was kind of a surprise that she was signed to Indiana anyway, and so we'll take her in a heartbeat. Like she's a Hall of Famer, she's a hell of a basketball player, can score from anywhere on the court, but she got to Indiana and she just like really wasn't happy. And like I want people to be happy, so that's why I'm kind of like neutral on this one, which a lot of people are surprised about. She's towards the end of her career, so like she deserves her flowers. She deserves to be happy. But I also think that if you're gonna leave, like you're gonna have to expect getting bit. Like,
was there explanation when it happened? No, not even privately. Yeah, I mean, okay, that's tough. And yeah, okay. Well, I did say what? Unless you leave on some fuck you type shit, and that's what that is. So
yeah,
and it's family, I guess. But like, you gotta get. I mean, sometimes if you're doing things that inconvenience other people, but they're better for you, you have to do it. But let someone know.
I think there's
sorry. Say what you're doing.
Yes, I think I'm right there with you. I think like I'm still rooting for her. Like I want her to end her career and be happy. But I also think that like it's okay to be professional about it and like send a text to your teammates. Send a text and be like, hey, like, love you guys. Or you don't even have to say love you guys. Just like, hey, sorry this didn't work out. Good luck. Da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Like there's a way to handle that, I think.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. As someone who be on the Sophie Cunningham hate train a lot of times, I don't see nothing wrong with what she just said here. I don't. I ain't got my tap dancing shoes on. I don't see nothing wrong with what she say. You might just have to resuscitate Sophie off that next AT screen. She ain't saying nothing crazy. I ain't even gonna lie to you. She gonna put her. Hello, Sophie. About to get that JC Sheldon tackle. She better be ready for it. Hold on. Let me see the comments. So
I'm still rooting for her. Like I
don't see nothing wrong with what she said. DB was on the team for 10 minutes and she wants a goodbye note. Girl, is that not professionalism? I work with people who got fired 1-2 months in and they said, hey, it was nice working with you. I just got fired, this or that. Ooh. Yeah. I saw SSB. I started off the stream talking about it. I talked about it for 2 minutes. It'll be on the replay, everything like that. Like I said, I didn't want to give it too much attention because I felt like attention is the reason why it keeps happening around the league is because people keep giving it attention. And then, you know, I kind of compared it to like tragedies and stuff like that, you know. Like people keep doing it because they see like this person's getting attention. Oh, I want attention. I want my life to matter. Oh, everything like that. So yeah. But yeah, it's basic professionalism. It takes 5-10 seconds, bro, to just, hey y'all, sorry it didn't work out. I'm not on the team anymore. To leave without telling anybody, just sitting out and everything is kind of crazy, bro. I think there's more to the story than we will ever know. She cooked. Bro thought it's a 9-to-5 job, so that's why she quit. I wonder if DB will fire back on anything. She ain't say nothing wrong, bro. A lot of y'all friends is praising her. Isn't that a good look for her or the Fever or CC? No, nobody should know this. What do you mean nobody should? That she didn't say goodbye? What is y'all talking about? That she didn't say goodbye. That shouldn't. Come on, bro. What are we talking about? People overreacting. I'm with you, SSB. She ain't say nothing wrong to me. She ain't say nothing wrong with me. No wonder no one posted her. As we all expected, she just quit. Sophie talking too much during the season. She just needs to shut up. Well, that is not talking too much. You didn't say anything to us. You left the job, you left our team, and you didn't say anything to us. No. What are we talking about right now? Next thing. I'm going to go to the next thing. A nonverbal kid, he spoke for the first time in an Uber. W child. Okay? W child.
So I have a...
Uh-oh. Let me turn down the volume. This one a bit louder. All right. Don't leave.
2.5-year-old son. Okay. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out, why isn't my son speaking? Like, I'm getting nervous. Like, is my baby ever going to talk? Like, he says some things, but no sentences, nothing like that. So one day we're in an Uber. Okay. It's this African man who's driving us, and we're in an Uber, and my son back there talking, and the Uber driver looks up in the rear view and he's like, eh? And I look at him like, you know, and I just keep doing what I'm doing. And my son says something else. And then the Uber driver say something in a completely different language. And I'm thinking maybe he's on Bluetooth. I mean, I don't know what he got going on. Maybe he talked to somebody. So then my son started laughing. I'm looking at my child and I'm like, hold on. What's going on? And then the Uber driver says, are you guys Nigerian? I'm like, no. I was like, I'm American. He like, your son is speaking to me in whatever, I don't know which Nigerian language. I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong, guys. I'm not trying to offend nobody, but he's like, your son is speaking to me. He knows. And I'm like, what? And then my son says something else, and they are going back and forth. The Uber driver is cracking up. Okay. I mean, literally cracking up. And my son is laughing. And I'm looking at my son, and I just want to know, all this time I've been worried about my son not being able to, you know, communicate. And he's speaking a completely different language. Mind you, my child is with me 25/8. Okay, he's attached at the hip. If I'm somewhere, he's there. So I just want to know, because I need to know, which African man done came back and took form in my child. Because I don't like that.
W child, man. W child, bro. Shouts out to Brody. Hey, I gotta learn me another language, bro. I had bro come in the other night from China when I was live at like 6 a.m. and stuff like that. I said I want to learn some Mandarin, and he said it's like 4 different tones, bro. I like, hey, okay, all right. And now I want to learn some Yoruba, bro. Like I want to learn some like Spanish, something, dog. So I know what folks be saying when they speak in different languages. But that's a feel good story, man. Shouts out to the kid, 100%. Okay, baby, bet. Now, we're coming to the end of the stream. We got a few things left, and then we're out of here. Here's Cydney responding to Silky's fans. Oh, Cydney. Okay. So this is why Silky's fans are mad at Cydney. She said this like yesterday on stream.
I ain't gonna lie, Silky the type to, he'd be fun to take advantage of when he got drunk. I ain't gonna cap. You could definitely take advantage of him. No shade, not trying to be like plotting on shit like that. But he definitely the type of person that'd be fun to take advantage of. That sounds so rapey, but like no.
So she said that. And of course you can imagine people's reaction to it. Like, you really said that? Like, what if this was a dude who said it? So she said, okay, I'm gonna respond. So she went on stream and she responded. Kid might have been a reincarnation. He had to be to speak in a different language, and he wasn't speaking it at all. W kid, bro. W kid for real, bro. But with Cydney, shouts out to Cydney for taking this to stream and like, okay, if you're gonna respond, get paid for responding. If you want to be a streamer now, be a streamer. Go all the way in with it. So salute to her on that. Let's see what she had to say. This is 54 seconds of her defending herself.
Joke a lot. Like too. I tend to joke a lot. Like too much. And I realized on the internet, they don't like jokes. And this joke was like very like dark humor type of joke. I'm a very dark humor type of person. And in this context, it doesn't look good. It looks very bad. And like I said,
I heard sometimes that kids in their past life will remember early on who they were before, but forget once they get older. My mom told me that she asked me when I was really young, maybe like 3 or 4, when I first started like learning how to speak. She asked me if I remember being in her womb. And she said, I did. And then I started telling her like it was dark. And I think I said it was warm. I can't remember what my mom said. Ironic, right? But she said I was like explaining it to her, and because I was young. So I 100% believe that the kids can remember that.
Taking accountability, it's wrong. Like and I do apologize for anybody that's ever been in a situation where they are intoxicated and someone did take advantage of them. Like, I apologize, and I was being insensitive about the situation. But when I said that, I meant it in a joking manner, because there's literally a lot of tweets online that are like, I'm very vulnerable right now. I need a bad bitch to take advantage of me, or like, oh, like I'm drunk right now. I need a bad bitch to take advantage of me. That is the type of terms I said it in. I didn't say it on like I tend to joke.
All right. So I think first I'm like, okay, I don't like that joke. And then she said dark humor. I said, okay, all right, that's her thing. But then when she explained it at the end, I felt like she should have said what she said at the end of the beginning. Because that is a online joke, like, ooh, like take advantage of me. Like that is a thing. That is a thing on the internet. Still doesn't make it any less creepy. And if it was a dude, oh man, he'd be out of here. He'd be out of here. But she's not a dude. So hey, I guess you'll live to fight another day. You're on the internet. It is what it is. If you're on this internet long enough, you're gonna have your day. All of us have our day on this internet. Just stay logged on. You're gonna have your day. All right. This is Consciously speaking about Chris Smalls, the American hero.
He's talking about his personal experience with the AOF. And man, before I play this clip, keep in mind, there will probably be no consequences or repercussions when it comes to our government holding that country accountable, since we're talking about the accountability archive. And while I believe wholeheartedly we should be able to press and ask questions for any black politician taking money from them folks. Education is elevation. And watch this clip.
I can tell you right now from my own experience that Palestinians and people of color are not safe amongst the Israeli government. They single-handedly attacked me out of the 21 volunteers because of the color of my skin. I didn't want to consent to their propaganda. So 7 authorities threw me to the ground. They put their knees in my back. They twisted my arms behind my back. They levitated me with 3 on each side. And one of them were pulling my hair back and choking me by the chains, telling me to shut up repeatedly. And they said some very racist remarks. They kept me isolated from the rest of the crew the entire time. And I know, once again, it was discrimination, and I wasn't treated like any of the other passengers.
We talk about anti-blackness being global. We're talking about how every single empire is always justified in bringing violence towards black bodies, regardless of what allyship they have and regardless what quote-unquote citizenship you have. It's important to not lose sight of what he was doing over there. He was trying to give food, because we have individuals using passive language like famine instead of active language like starvation, while also talking about how there's a humanitarian crisis while not talking about who's causing it. And the reason why starvation, you know what I'm saying, is more active, because it shows you that somebody is doing it. And the reason why a lot of these empty justifying statements from different Democrats,
somebody did this,
elected officials, especially some of those that take a lot of that old money from over there, is saying that what's going on now is a humanitarian crisis. It's like, hey, Even if we win by your language, famine doesn't happen over time. Famine happens over time. I also know it. Famine happens over time. Was somebody blocking them aid? Has somebody been poisoning their food? Have they been getting hunted down like animals while they're going to get said food and aid when it does come? Have they been treated like hogs you're trying to capture in the wild when you corner them all in? It comes to the weapons and the funds and a lot of the resources that allows for them to do said things. And the reason why this man go out on that boat and try to make sure individuals have food and aid. Like who what?
Shout out to Consciously. I know Zero isn't the biggest on Consciously because he lines himself up so much publicly with the liberals, but shout out to Consciously. I like this video, everything like that, and calling out like the people who take money from them, from that side, from that people, from that community, plus the people who send money to them, that side, that community, those people, which are ironically the liberals. And the Biden administration did it a lot. So, but I like the fact that he called them out here. So there it is. All right, Max left FaZe. This is my first time watching this. So yeah, I saw the clip of your rage say that it wasn't a troll. Then I seen Silky post Instagram story as well. Here's from the man himself, Black Boy Max, talking about leaving FaZe clan.
Going to death while I'm leaving FaZe. I can't fully go into death, but I'm leaving FaZe. Yeah, I'm leaving. And oh my bad. Y'all was hearing echo, my bad. But yes, I'm leaving FaZe. Like I just said, I can't fully go into death while I'm leaving FaZe, but I am leaving and I'm ready to, embark on my journey. And work the hardest I ever have in my career to do whatever I got to do to make FaZe the biggest shit possible, make myself the biggest shit possible. Just keep working like we have for the past 4 years. Anyone that's been watching me for a while, yeah, I know I was never, like I always said, there's old clips where y'all niggas thought I got. Because I'm like, I never joined a group, etc. Ended up joining a group, and I'm gonna be honest, it's one of the best decisions I ever made in my life, joining FaZe, like for sure. To all my FaZe bros, like this shit changed my life. I'm gonna keep it a bucket dead.
So why he leave? Did he explain why he left? Is it in the comments? At the bank scamming, I wonder why he left. Confirm he left. Let me
staff to anyone that I encountered while being there. I appreciate y'all, bro. That ass, like, really taking me in, treating me like one of y'all own. You know what I'm saying? Even though I had just joined, FaZe has been around for 15 years. And really just building something with me, bro. From Pepsi and Addison to Sophie. You feel me? And no love is lost at all. Like at the end of the day, these the bros, you feel me? I link with the bros. I'll still link with the bros. But it's just time to do what I gotta do. To my boys.
All right. I don't know what that means. Maybe the business or the details come out later. Maybe he gets more into it later. But yeah, man, that is something, man. Well, what else? Anything else? Yeah, really, I guess the main thing I just want to say is Max has built up something really dope. As you guys know on this channel, I'm a fan of Max. We've been reacting to Max stuff since his whole Connie Aaron situation with Connie's ex and all of that stuff. And he's just been putting out entertaining stuff since he lived in Jersey. And to have the chance to meet him very briefly and talk to him and get him on the channel, friend of the channel, by the way, Black Boy Max. What he's done with 5-Star and in the booth has been sensational. He has like a lot of creativity. He creates his own worlds, man, and he does it constantly. So to see him to still do it, it's admirable. And shouts out to Max. Best of luck to him in the future with whatever he's doing with 5-Star and just Black Boy Max. All right, next. Kwame versus Gilbert. I think this is the last thing I have up. Yeah, this is the last thing I have up. Kwame is still going back and forth with Gilbert because Gilbert's still speaking on Kwame. So Kwame is still making money.
In preseason, summer league, and he still has something to say. What are you talking about? Nobody had nothing to say about. What do you do?
Yeah, according to everything, FaZe Banks was actually scamming, or he was involved with some like dirty work with the whole kind of currency coin thing, crypto, and like messages came out that he was just friends with Aiden because of his status or his his ability to get more money. Yeah, said because that's horrible. Yeah. No, that's what happened. That's what happened, man. That's what happened. And then he stepped down. He just got called out. He got caught. He stepped down.
You just got out of jail, right? And you trying to take a dig at.
Let me get out. I got to go back to see what Good Gilbert said.
For him in preseason, summer league, and he still has something to say. What are you talking about? Nobody had nothing to say about. What do you do?
You just got out of jail, right? And you trying to take a dig at me. And you said I hated on Bronny because my sports take was not only fair, not only from a professional standpoint, but it was smarter than yours. You just a dick rider. You just a clutch sports guzzler. I'm not. Yeah, I don't get in little small outfits because I placed a bet with my sexuality. I don't paint my face up and hold purses and shit like you, nigga. So my sports take was based on basketball. So it's not hating. So just because you defined it as hating, let me tell you what I said and I can reiterate it. Has he improved in preseason? Yes, he has. Look at the improvement. He's shooting the ball with confidence. He's driving the ball to a spot and he's pulling up with confidence. He's playing like his father is on the sideline and got his back, and that the coach got his back. Same thing I said when he was coming out there looking like a deer in the headlights, playing scared and throwing the ball up instead of getting contact and fighting over picks.
So what's going on with the Gilbert Arenas gambling situation? So allegedly, like at Gilbert Arenas' house, there were high stakes gambling matches and stuff like that taking place with the Israeli mob, reportedly, and stuff like that, right? So a bunch of people got arrested, including Gilbert Arenas. And one of the Morris twins was like, at Vegas, bruh, like they knew what it was. Like, I wish I would have just handled it. If y'all was a real Israeli mob, I wish I would have handled it like that instead of running to the police and the feds and everything like that. And Gilbert got it because it was his house. So Gilbert comes out of jail and he says, I had nothing to do with anything. The games were just at a home that I own, but I had nothing to do with that stuff. And then he later made jokes that I'm a snitch because I ain't doing no prison time. I ain't about to do no prison time. So that's what's going on with the Gilbert Arenas gambling situation.
I was talking about basketball, idiot. That's not hating just because it's not the same dumbass opinion you got. You just want LeBron to let you coach his kids and let you drink wine and play poker with them. You want LeBron at the poker house. I don't want LeBron at the poker house. So when I see him say that his son is better than some NBA players that's playing currently, and then I actually see his son playing, and it's like, what the? This is what you said? So not only did I say his son didn't deserve to be drafted, and many others have said the same thing, but you so hell-bent on talking about Kwame Brown for whatever reason, because you're a loser. Look at him. Don't run to Iverson again when I focus on you again. Gorillas come and run. One thing about Allen Iverson, he know I don't run to nobody.
This man Gilbert Arenas, what was in the chat, he donated to him in the chat while he was talking about him. Don't run to Iverson again when I come focusing on you.
Allen Iverson is actually my friend. Allen Iverson just don't know how much of a piece of shit you is.
Iverson was actually on Kwame's stream one time, which was like crazy. I was like, what the heck? Yeah, he was. I remember that stream. It was a couple years ago. He said, wait, so Gilbert is going to jail? Yeah. Gilbert went to jail. He was bonded out on $50,000 bond. His court date his next hearing and stuff like that is like September 13th. So he's facing a maximum of 15 years in prison if he's convicted of the 3 federal gambling, high state gambling things and everything like that. Kwame low-key got hella links. See, the thing is with Kwame is like what he says, like Kwame, the quality of his streams and stuff like that, it just be looking like, like he's just doing it on the like on a farm or in the country and everything, and like he just low budget and everything like that, and he's just a crazy man talking. Kwame Brown still at the end of the day was like a 10+ year NBA veteran and the #1 draft pick. So yeah, man, he like one of the few people that played with both Kobe and Michael Jordan in life. You know what I'm saying? So he one of them ones, bro. Yeah, but yeah, 15. Yeah, that's what Arenas is facing, 15 years.
If Allen Iverson knew that you was paying for a guy to put my deceased mother up on YouTube, you think Allen Iverson will f you, dummy? Do you really think that? You a clown. And do you think I give a fuck about cartoons and whatever you put up on the internet? I don't. You are a clown. We are proving that you can't stop thinking about me, nigga. You can't stop, won't stop. You got out of jail and went to talking about me. You out of the
I just can't stop loving you.
Jail again, and you talking about something totally different, and you talk about me again. Something wrong with you, boy. You never gonna be the #1 draft pick. It's over. The only thing you are is a fuck up, you international pimp. You.
He said you never gonna be a #1 draft pick. Talk that talk, Kwame. Hey, subscribe to Kwame Brown Bust Life right now, expeditiously. If you haven't, from the prior rants a couple years ago, it's some good stuff. Boy, be speaking the truth and it's entertaining. Also, he can veer off into conspiracy theory land now. And he was speaking against Kamala Harris, and he was kind of for Trump, everything like that. Well, not kind of for. If he was against Kamala, he was for Trump. So he's for Trump last time and everything. And he brought Joe Brown to speak down on Kamala Harris and everything like that. But just in terms of just a dude that's gonna make you laugh, Kwame Brown was just gonna make you laugh, bro. You got to understand with these things who you watching and what comes with it. But with that being said, man, I'm falling asleep. My speech was been slurred for the last 40 minutes on stream, so I'm getting out. Oh yeah. The Morris twins. You gotta remember they got They got one of them got arrested in Vegas for some gambling stuff right before the Gilbert Arenas joint. So I guess the other Morris twin was like, "Oh, this is that going on." So yeah, 15 years. Because it was like the states that they was gambling, it was like dates with escorts and stuff like that, or time with escorts. So you know what I'm saying? So they was like betting escorts and some high, high stakes stuff for real. Yeah. But America coming down on gambling 100%, man. It's crazy because it's like as they try to make it more acceptable mainstream, it's like the penalties are becoming harsher and harsher. Well, I'm gonna say harsher and harsher because, you had dang Pete Rose. I don't think it gets harsher than that from back in the day. But yeah, man. But yeah. Oh, SSB. If you want to see anything more about this, I have 15-minute videos about it on a page. Just go on the page, and I don't know if you can search my page on the phone, but you can on the desktop. So if you're on a desktop, laptop, whatever the case might be, just go on the page and search like Gilbert Arenas, Kwame Brown, one of those. It's like a 15-minute video at the beginning of all of this that like explains all the details and stuff like that. He said, I'll just scroll through. All right, it might be a little scrolling because like folks be uploading 80 times a day. So, but yeah, I appreciate all y'all, man. And as always, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, have a good night, have a good day. Nobody else told you today. I care for you. My name is Rashad Milligan. This is the road to 10K subs. Make sure you subscribe because I am live on this channel each and every single day. Tomorrow's stream, we will be in a different place, and we will be so into the end of the week, into Saturday night. So that being said, you guys take care of yourselves. Peace out. Oh, shouts out to SSB and Big Nate holding it down in the chat tonight. Y'all boys, I appreciate y'all boys, man. Always and forever. Until next time.
Rashad, why you
anyways.
didn't hit me up?
What's up, Rashad? Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
Brother, I love you, brother.
What's up, Rashad?
Yeah.
What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.